Beyond with Matt.
Amazing. Thank you, Joe. So good. Can someone do me a favor? Casey, I'm going to nominate you. Do you want to grab that table for us, please, brother? So good. Yes, today is Beyond Sunday, and the focus of Beyond for us in this conversation is around, as an individual and as a church, how do we live in such a way? How do we design our lives? How do we structure the church in a way where we become a blessing to others beyond our immediate church family or church community? And so we're going to talk about that today. And one of the central missions to our lives and to the church is to reach the world with the light, the love of Christ. And we read scriptures like this in the Bible. Marco, sorry, I didn't give you my scriptures, but let's see if we can do this on the fly. ESV translation, James chapter 2, verse 19. And oh, look at that, Marco. Amazing. So good. Marco is a legend. What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and filled," without giving them things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. In other words, the Christian life isn't about what we believe or what we confess. It's about that confession of Christ transforming us, as Joe was talking about before, transforming us in a way where we start to look like Christ, where our faith, there is a tangible, obvious expression of that which we believe. And that overflows in love, in kindness, in generosity. What we don't need is a whole bunch of Christians running around saying, "I believe in Jesus." What we need is a whole bunch of Christians running around behaving like Jesus. Now, obviously, Jesus set the bar pretty high and we'll never reach that bar, but that's not the point. Because it's not our works that justify us, so we don't have to be burdened by this untruth that we have to work hard, we have to give everything away, we have to love people so that we can earn God's love. No, because we have been given the love of God through Jesus Christ, because we have received God's love, because we have received Christ, now that creates an overflow in us through spiritual transformation. And so one of the evidences of our faith should be, over time, a life that slowly, like maybe fast for some, maybe slow for others, but we increase in our kindness, in our love, in our response to humanity around us. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 says, just going a little slow so Marco can punch it in. There we go. "And let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, especially those who are of the household of faith." So as we're talking about Beyond today, there is also a reality here. One, we find ourselves in Christian community. We find ourselves in a church family, and some of us have been here for a long time. Some of us, this is just the start of your journey. But there is an important aspect, one, that we love each other, that we look out for each other, that we're supporting each other, we're caring for each other. And how do we care for each other if we don't know what's going on in each other's lives? So there is an important aspect of church community that we need to draw close to each other, so that we can actually get a glimpse into each other's world, so that we can be that support, so that we can demonstrate Christ to those in the family of faith. But then Paul says in here in Galatians as well, before he draws us into the immediate family of faith, he said, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone. And we've got stories in the Bible like the Good Samaritan, where a Samaritan person is walking along and they see someone on the roadside who has been hard done by, who has been robbed, who has been beaten up, and they immediately help and they use their resource to help that person. And that's how we are to live our lives. So we need to be careful that we don't get too focused in on just what is happening in our own personal world. Not that we neglect our personal world, we need to give that focus, but we need to be looking around at the world around us and how can we help those in need around us. As individuals, and also today we're going to be talking about how do we do that as the church as well. But we also must be careful of not institutionalizing, is that a word? Institutionalizing the church and looking around at the world and saying the church should be doing more, the church should be doing that. Because all you're doing in that statement is pointing the finger at yourself because you are the church. And so we need to do this as individuals, but there's also a collective or corporate response that we can have to the needs of this world as well. And not all of us, like we've all got different levels of proactiveness. We've all got different skill sets. We've all got different levels of extrovertedness or introverted. I was talking to Angel about this at the start of the service. Like Casey's he'll talk to anyone who's got breath. Like maybe even if they don't have breath, he'll talk to them. But Angel's got a very different personality. So we're all wired differently. We've all got different personalities. Some of us find certain things easy. Some of us find those very things hard or intimidating. So that's where collectively we can try to work together to be the light of the gospel in this world. So, first question we need to ask, what does the beyond life look like for me? And then we ask, what does the beyond life look like for us? And today we'll be discussing or focusing in on the us. But before we get into the nitty-gritties of what this looks like for us, I thought it would be great just to take a little trip down memory lane. We launched Lighthouse Springfield back in 2017, and ever since we launched, we've been trying to get involved in the community. And over time, we developed this word called Beyond, which basically has become the banner of the collective work that we do as a church to help, to support, to love our community. And so for the first number of years as we were running Beyond, it was led by the amazing Alison Saunders, who is over here. Yes, amazing. So really like a lot of what we're talking about today, the legacy is wrapped up in the work that Alison began to do in those early years in the life of the church. And today we have the amazing Heidi Fishlock, who is our Beyond Director. So if you want to get involved, if you've got ideas, and not ideas of, the church should do this, but like, I've got a heart for this. I would really love to see this, and I'd love to get involved in this, but I don't know how to do it on my own. Have a conversation with Heidi, and so then she can help you and work with you, and maybe there's other people in the church who have that same passion, that same desire to make a difference in that particular area within our community. And so we can have the conversation and we can start to see what we can do together as the church. But you're not seeing Heidi to give her more work to do, but you're seeing Heidi to say, hey, I can get involved, I can give, I can contribute in this area, help me work this out. So I put together just a little mini slideshow. This is just some photos that I had on my phone. Dating back to 2017, like there's a whole lot of photos that aren't there, but just a little showcase of some of the things that we've done through Beyond across the last few years here at Lighthouse Springfield. There we go. So that's a little snapshot. And of course, with Beyond, like most of the things we do, we don't take photos of. So that's only a little portion of that we do. The video started with at Christmas time when we first started. There was Christmas markets at Rebel Domain, and so we did the carols there, and we handed out little goodies to people. And so Beyond isn't always necessarily providing a direct financial need or a direct support for someone who's struggling, but it's also just showing the community that, hey, we love you guys, and so it's just being a blessing to the community as well. So there's a mix of different things that we do through Beyond, but of course it is all possible because of people like you and I who give financially and also are willing to get our hands dirty to serve. And so at the end of this service, we will be taking up an offering for Beyond as well. So basically how we structure this is pretty much once a year on Beyond Day, which is today, we take up an offering. You can give into Beyond at other times during the year, but this is when we take up a specific offering on a Sunday, and 100% of those funds goes to the work of Beyond. So it goes to blessing individuals or organizations or the community. So we will be taking up that offering at the end of the service today. There's a couple of changes that we've been working on in the background of Beyond, but before we get to them, and again, before we kind of dive in a little deeper into what this looks like moving forward for us, we've got just a Beyond update video. This is, again, just more of a snapshot video across our 5 locations, because we have Beyond Day at each one of our 5 Lighthouse locations today. And this is just a general overview of some of the broader work that's been happening across Lighthouse Church over the last 12 months in the area of Beyond. Thanks, Marco.
Over the past 12 months, Lighthouse has continued to be just that, a light in the darkness. Together, we've given practical care, encouragement and love to people both in our own communities and around the world. Across our 5 locations, your generosity has made a real and lasting difference. Because of you, we've packed hundreds of gifts and hampers, launched community projects, run life-giving programs, and supported families and organisations right when they've needed it most. So today, we want to take a moment to thank God and to celebrate what we've done together and show you just how far your generosity has gone. Here's how your generosity has made a difference. At Lighthouse, we believe even a small act, like a gift or a care pack, can speak volumes. It tells someone you matter, you're not alone, you are loved. At Christmas, we gave hundreds of gifts to children in foster and kinship care across Queensland, reminding little ones in difficult family situations that they are loved and not forgotten. Together with Legacy House, we hosted a Christmas morning tea and gave gift boxes to 25 widows and carers, bringing comfort during what can be a lonely season. On Mother's Day, we prepared gift hampers and care messages for mums and vulnerable children doing it tough through our partnership with Mission Australia. With Legacy House, we again blessed 25 widows and carers with Mother's Day gift boxes and a morning tea. We also gave 20 gift boxes to women attending the annual Operation PTSD retreat. All of this a reminder that they are still a part of a community who sees and loves them. For Father's Day, we provided gift boxes to widows of returned service veterans, honouring their sacrifice and giving their loved ones encouragement in their journey forward. But the generosity didn't stop there. Through Mission Australia and Fishers of Men, we've provided emergency meals and groceries and Christmas hampers to families and those experiencing homelessness. We've provided essential food packs to families in hardships and also helped those families in crisis with urgent school uniform and supplies, reducing the pressure of back-to-school costs. We partnered with Karini Arana to create Leavers Hampers for homeless teens preparing to take their next step into independent living. Each hamper filled with essentials like pots and pans and kettles and toasters to help them start afresh. We delivered hundreds of thank you packs for individuals, as well as wellness packs for teen, Christmas hampers for families, and toiletry and grocery packs for Fishers of Men, along with women's clothing donations for those in crisis. In total this year, we've distributed hundreds of thank you packs, hope and care packs, Christmas hampers and school wellness packs, blessing teachers, students and community members alike. Every one of these packs and hampers carry the same message. You are seen, you are not alone, you are loved. We've also rolled up our sleeves this year, showing love through action. Through our Mobros initiative, teams have provided garden help for families who for many reasons couldn't manage on their own. What might seem like a simple mowing or pruning job brought some people to tears because it lifted a burden they couldn't carry alone. We also served morning tea to mental health nurses at Woolloongabba Community Healthcare Centre, encouraging professionals who pour themselves out to care for others during their darkest time. And on Serve Day, teams from each Lighthouse location stepped out to bring hope through hands-on projects. We did a backyard blitz for a woman walking through great hardship. We helped a widow of a service veteran through Legacy House and transformed a large 2-acre property, mowing, pruning, mulching and clearing space for a new life to grow. We renovated staff rooms, refreshed playgrounds, cleaned courts and planted gardens across Bald Hills, Lawnton and Northgate State Schools. And at Karinity Orana Youth Accommodation, we cleaned, painted, pressure washed and even built fencing to create a safer, more welcoming space for homeless teens. All of these projects were more than jobs just done. They were hope made visible. At Lighthouse, we are deeply committed to the next generation. We want them to know they are seen, loved, and have a future. We've continued to partner with school chaplains, supporting religious instruction programs, running chaplaincy breakfasts that feed both body and soul, and helping create safe spaces where students and staff know that they can turn here for encouragement. Our Real Me program continues to ground girls in the truth of who they are, building confidence and resilience. Our Red Frogs team has expanded to meet weekly at Uni Lodge Park Central, providing meals, games and connections for university students. Over Christmas, we baked and delivered more than 100 homemade cookies and fudge packs, blessing students far from home. And we've now seen several students begin to attend church regularly. And through Play Cafe, now running 3 mornings each week, families from across the community are finding a fun, safe and creative place to connect. With a team of more than 20 volunteers, Play Cafe continues to grow, welcoming more and more new families each week. Our Family Fun Days reached more than 125 families, supported by a team of over 60 volunteers. These aren't just programs, they're seeds of love and faith planted in the lives of our young people. We've also been able to provide financial support to meet specific needs where the impact has been life-changing. We've given money to Open Haven, supporting women escaping domestic violence with post-crisis care. We've donated funds to support Christian religious instructions within our schools in all our regions. And in the Philippines, through Compassion, we were able to cover the entire cost of urgent jaw surgery for a young girl named Faith, changing Faith's future forever. We also partnered with Agape International Missions, financially supporting their work with girls who are caught in the trap of sex trafficking, equipping them to step into new opportunities through programs and providing a better and bright future. Altogether, in just 12 months, Lighthouse has given more than $45,000 worth of support, touching lives across our communities, across our cities, and across the world. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, Lighthouse family. Your generosity, prayers, and willingness to serve are transforming lives and shining the light of Christ across Southeast Queensland. Together, we are changing lives, bringing hope, and making a difference.
There we go. Amazing. Yeah, you can give the Lord a clap. So one of the big changes that we have been working on this year behind the scenes in the area of Beyond, because we really, as a church, want to see this part of our ministry elevated. We want to do more work and we want to make a bigger difference in our local communities that surround our Lighthouse locations and beyond. And so officially now, Beyond has become a registered charity, which is really exciting because, and some of you might be thinking, what does that actually mean? Well, a couple of significant things. Number one, it completely changes our ability to apply for government grants. So it means the scale of projects can significantly increase. And one thing that's been really great here in Springfield is we actually have built really good working relationships with both our state and federal members, and you even saw a couple of photos before with our state and federal members, and we've already entered into conversations over time around doing more in this space as a church. But now being a registered charity, just our access to funding dramatically increases, which is really good. It just means we're able to, also just do things at a different level, a different scale within local community and working with council as well. The other thing it means for you as well, your giving is tax deductible through Beyond. Whether that matters for you, whether that changes anything, you might have thought I'll give $100, but now I'll give 10 grand. But your giving through Beyond is tax deductible. But there's some important parameters that we have to work within when it comes to Beyond. So now our charity is called Lighthouse Beyond Community Care, which will probably still just simplify it to the word Beyond internally. But our scope of works is only within Australia. And there's been projects that we have done internationally over time as well. So you saw in that update video, Agape, International Ministries, which supports, so that they're based in Cambodia, that rescues girls out of the sex trafficking trade. Also Compassion as well. We do work with Compassion, and so Heidi's going to jump up a little later on and talk about Compassion in particular, because we still want to be involved internationally. And also in certain projects with even within Australia, things like church planting, for example, or other things that we want to do that fall outside of the scope of our registered charity. So how we're going to tackle this basically is there'll be our main offering through Beyond, but there is also a project through Compassion that you will have an opportunity to give into as well, but that giving will be done separately, just so we can separate those funds, because we need to do that now. But Heidi will talk more about that a little bit later on. Okay, so what does Beyond look like for us locally here at Springfield and across Lighthouse as well? So we divide our basically where beyond our action of Beyond, like where we actually, the work we do is divided into 4 areas that you would have seen in that update video, and that's through packs, projects, programs, and provision. And so I'll just briefly talk about each one of those and just some of the things here. So I'll basically localize this today. I'll really just talk about this through the lens of Lighthouse Springfield and what this means for us. Otherwise, we'll be here all day if we're talking about Lighthouse as a whole and what's happening across our locations. So packs, this is something we've been doing for a long time in different ways. And these are some of the things that we are currently doing and will continue to do over the next 12 months as well. And I'll just put a caveat on any of this that I'm talking about. If you've got an idea that you think that this would be awesome if we could do this or provide this service or do, like, come and talk to Heidi. Let's start the conversation and see where that can go. So one of the areas of packs that we have been doing for a couple of years and will continue to do is our emergency food packs. So right outside the doors of this auditorium, there's lockers on the wall, and there's a bunch of those lockers that are dedicated to our church, and inside of those lockers are emergency food packs. So basically, it's all long life food. So basically, each one of these packs is designed that a family can go with food. So they're designed for a family, and a couple of kids can feed themselves for about 4 days, basically. So it's not heaps of food, but that includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 4 days. So it's not packed full of like just chips and lollies and chocolates and things like that. It's as wholesome as food can get in packets that are long life and won't go off. But we have got a partnership with Springfield Central High School, so the high school next door. And so basically through the wellness officer of the school, they identify families that are really struggling financially to the point that they can't even afford food, like they were in dire straits. And, you know, most of us, we live reasonably comfortable lives and we have funds to buy food, and sometimes it's hard to imagine how could a family end up in that place. Well, in a way, we're not too concerned. Okay, that sounds bad. We are concerned, but our mission is to not question how a family ended up in that place, but they just need assistance right now. So we're not holding any sort of judgment of how they ended up like that, but we want to just provide support, and our prayer is that that support is just a little drop in the ocean to their current circumstance, but it can just provide the hope or maybe just the immediate relief where that family can go, oh, someone actually cares, and that family, we pray that would be able to see their circumstances changed. And so basically how it works is, so when these families are found through the school, we work with the YMCA. What's really great is, so those families can come at any time during the week, well, kind of during operating hours, and they just come to the YMCA and they pick up a food pack. When food packs are taken out, Heidi's notified, and then we as a church replenish those food packs. And so we store, how many do we store on site at any given time? I think 6 to 8. Something like that, 6 to 8 food packs ready to go at any given time. And so when that gets down to say about 4 or something like that, we'll make sure we replenish that. But we've actually seen over the last 12 months this increase. It's actually been at the highest level since we've been doing this. So it's one of those things that, and each one of these packs costs us around $50, $55 for each one of these packs. But if you think, like, if 100 packs go out, that's $5,500. Like, it's amazing how it adds up. So they just kind of go out behind the scenes. We often don't hear about it until days like today, or certain times during the year we might mention it. But that's been just a real blessing. And both state and federal government have recognised what we do there and that service we provide, and have really loved what we do. So one of the other partnerships that we developed very early on as a church is our partnership with an organization, well, two organizations called Operation PTSD and Legacy House. And it just happens to be that Donna, who's the director of both of those organizations, has become a real friend of the church. And there's a few people in the church that know her personally. And so year after year, basically since 2017, we've worked with Donna through these two organizations. And in the area of PAX, we provide Christmas gifts. We provide, so Operation PTSD hold a retreat for the carers and supporters of families of widows. And I don't know if I can go into detail around the retreat. Am I able to give the details? What did Donna say about that? Of exactly what this retreat does? I won't give all, like, there's actually some people that go, the women that come on these retreats who have experienced really painful and significant loss in their life. And so Operation PTSD and Legacy House support people who have experienced loss or people with mental health, specifically when there is a veteran within that household, a service veteran. So that's the work that they do. So we provide gifts. So they put on a retreat every year for those ladies and also some kids as well. And so we provide gifts for those retreats. We also provide Mother's Day packs, Father's Day packs, because there's also some male veterans, widows as well that they look after. So we do lots of work through them, but that's the area of packs, but there's some other work we do that I'll talk about in a moment. Also foster care and kinship care Queensland, we provide Christmas gifts to children in the foster care system and kinship care. So we provide that each Christmas. That's a tongue twister. I can't get my lips around that word. So that's basically the main thing we do with PAX. But there's also some seasonal things that we do sometimes as well. So for example, if you remember back to 2022 when the floods hit this area, we provided fresh food packs to a bunch of families as well. So at certain times we provide other packs here and there as needs arise or as people in the church have ideas, but these are the ongoing ones. So mainly through that partnership with the school and YMCA, those emergency food grocery packs, and also through Legacy House and Operation PTSD. We do those packs throughout the year. And they're just a real blessing. The women who receive those packs are just absolutely blown away. Like, it's amazing the impact that these packs have on these women. So that's the area of packs. And then we have our area of projects. Projects are more practical and involve team. And so one of the things that we've been involved with that you've seen photos of is the community carols in the area. And I've been on the committee of the Springfield Community Carols for the last 5 years, I think it has been. And so this year the Community Carols is on again, and a bunch of local churches are getting involved with it. This year even Hillsong are getting involved, Shiloh Church as well are getting involved at Red Bank Plains. And so you'll hear more about this over the coming weeks, but basically Heidi is organising a team to serve at those carols, so something you might want to get involved with. We also have put on morning teas through Legacy House and Operation PTSD through the year as well, so that's another project that we do. And again, I will just say, maybe there's an idea that you have that you think this would be a really cool initiative that we could do as a church. Just be warned, if you come up with the idea, you're probably going to be involved with that idea. So just a pre-warning, but we would love to hear it. So come and share with us. And then, of course, each year we hold our annual Serve Day. And Heidi's going to talk about that right now, actually. So there's no point me talking about it. I'll hand it over to you, Heidi.
Cool. Thanks, Pastor Matt. It's so exciting, everything that's happening, and I'm very excited about Serve Day. It was awesome seeing the images from last year's Serve Day. It was really reminiscing for those of you who got involved or would know, but for those of you who come in, to our church this year or weren't weren't around, we did a 2-acre property of a lady who is connected to Legacy. She had recently lost her husband, and we did 2 acres. There was not a square meter untouched when we left that afternoon. It was amazing. And I came away from that and went, wow, how amazing is our church family? And so coming into this year, I really wanted to, again, take that a step higher. What can we do to really spread the impact? And obviously, you guys have been hearing it the last few weeks. We are not doing one property in one location. We are doing 5 projects in 3 locations, which is incredible. I had this feeling the other day, I'm like, we're taking a risk. I'm like, oh my gosh, have we bitten off more than we can chew? And I went, no, this is a faith step. And I've been so encouraged by the number of sign-ups, people getting on board to support these projects. So to recap, what we're doing next Saturday, the 25th of October, less than a week away, is we are doing packs in this building. So we are doing Operation PTSD retreat packs, as Pastor Matt has been sharing, getting involved in that because there's a retreat the following week. So that was really good timing. We're also doing Operation Christmas Child. Thank you to so many people who have brought in items to put into these shoe boxes. I'm so excited. There's like 2 tubs that are being filled up nicely, and I do have a couple of people that I'll stop by during the week and pick up even more items. And I want to thank you because this is an example of people coming to me throughout the year. There were multiple people that came to me and said, are we doing Operation Christmas Child? We should do that. Can we do that? Is that okay? And I kept that at the back of my mind and then has had conversations with Pastor Matt and said, we need to do this. And it's been awesome to then put that into our Surf Day this year. And we've had people signing up to intentionally do these packs who have never done Surf Day before. So I'm so encouraged by that. And then we're doing garden maintenance. We're doing outside garden right here. And we're doing 2 properties through Legacy House. And these 2 women we're helping have been blown away by the fact that we are willing to come in and do the hard work to transform their properties, which is incredible. So thank you to all who've signed up. I'm really excited. Those who have, you will hear from me in the next 48 hours with more details. But I could still do with 3 more people. If I can have 3 more people, that would be amazing, just to fill in a couple of gaps I have. So if you've not signed up, you're free next Saturday morning, please do get involved. It's going to be incredible. It's really going to impact. We're really going to sense the presence of God. You know, not just here, we are bringing the church out into our community, and it's just a really incredible time for us to come together. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Amazing. Marco, do you want to put up that QR code for Surf Day? So if you're one of those 3 people that Heidi needs, you can scan that QR code and sign up. It's a fun day. We just hang out with each other, and it's generally pretty hot, so we sweat a bit together. And but it's just a real blessing for these women who receive this work being done. And thank you so much, Heidi, for all the work that you've done as well, because Surf Day takes a lot of organisation. It's not just, so she's liaising with the women at these 2 properties and also the venue here for the projects here, but also organising the packs as well. I think Renee is looking after the retreat packs as well, so thank you, Renee. Is Renee here somewhere? She's in kids today, so Renee is heading up that and looking after the Operation PTSD retreat packs, which is exciting. But yeah, it takes a whole lot of work behind the scenes, even from the level of health and safety as well. A lot of things have to be covered in that area as well. It's not as simple as like, hey, let's get out and do stuff. Like, we actually have to be safe when we do it. So very cool. Then there's an area, so we've got packs, we've got projects, and then we have programs. And there's not a whole lot we do here through programs as of current, but Heidi has been involved with local RI and chaplaincy in the area as well. So she's been got a connection there with Phil Cutcliffe, and she's been along to a couple of schools, to RI sessions that have been put on as well. But if you have a passion or a heart or a desire, if you would like to do something within schools through RI, which is religious instruction, and teach kids about the gospel, about Jesus, about the Bible, come and talk to Heidi, because we have an open door into that area. And so been doing a little bit of work there, but there's definitely scope for a lot more. We also have our in-house design program called The Real Me, which is a program that is run in schools. We've run it in the past through Springfield State School, and it's a program for girls to discover their true God identity and purpose. And it's really targeted at girls who are at risk in certain self-image and mental health areas as well. So that's a program that we have that we can run in schools. So this is for women only, this one. So ladies, if that program sounds like something that you would want to get involved with and help facilitate or organize, go and see Heidi about that as well. And then the area of provision. Provision is basically providing direct financial support to individuals or organizations as well, our partners. And so we made a donation this year to local chaplaincy and RI. So we have financially invested as a church into that area to support the work that is being done, because, you know, there's going to be some churches that have got more boots on the ground, but then for other churches where we don't have boots on the ground, we can financially support the important work that's done in our local schools as well. Also, through the high school, we donated a whole lot of items through their breakfast club program. So it's amazing how many high school students rock up to school with no food. It's amazing. And so they provide breakfast for school students, but then through the donations from Lighthouse Springfield, we provided a whole load of lunch snacks as well for kids who come to school with no lunch, so they can get a Lighthouse Springfield lunch snack for the day. So we were able to donate that as well. But we also make sure that we keep some of our Beyond funds available for emergencies as well. So again, going back to the example of the floods back in 2022, we were able to pump a whole heap of money into that and just provide, we didn't just provide boots on the ground to help with the cleanup, but we were able to provide financial assistance through food vouchers, gift cards, fuel vouchers, etc., to people who needed it. And then we also, just over time, people who are experiencing hardship that we come into contact with, who either contact the church or through our partnerships, we also provide things like vouchers that people can use as well. So we use Beyond funds for that. And again, we're never going to say, hey, we won't give the details of that person and what that looked like. So that just kind of operates in the background from time to time as well. Although if you want to know where the money goes and beyond, seriously, go and see Heidi or Joe or Deb, and we can actually provide. We can tell you exactly how much funds were spent in different areas if you want to know, or if you're wondering how we spend the money through Beyond, we can show you that distribution at any time as well. So we're an open book there. Again, this is all possible because of your generosity, both with your finance, but also with your willingness to serve as well. So I encourage you to sign up to Serve Day if you're not signed up, and if you're available this Saturday. And I also encourage you to give today as well. And for some of us, that might be a smaller amount. For some of us, we might have the capacity to give a larger amount. And just a reminder, that offering is tax deductible as well. So if you give through the website, and we'll give the giving details up in a moment, so we'll come back to that. We won't take up the offering just yet. But when you give through the QR code that we provide through our website, it's a special Beyond QR code. That way we can make sure that you get a receipt for your tax deductibility claiming. So Before we look at that offering, there's just another area that I mentioned before that now falls outside of the scope of our Lighthouse Beyond Community Care charity, and that is the international partners that we have. And so there's one initiative or one partnership that we want to financially contribute towards, and that's our partnership with Compassion. And so our partnership with Compassion does a couple of different things. We've got sponsorships, but then there's also direct financial giving for a particular person in crisis need. And so what we're going to do now, we're going to play a video from our Compassion representative. His name's Michael. And so he's just going to give a little update of where we're at with sponsored children, but also the project we gave into last year through Compassion. And so we're going to play that video, and then Heidi's going to jump up again and give us more details and clarity around Compassion.
Hello to everyone at Lighthouse Church across all your locations. Michael here from Compassion, and I'm so excited to be sharing an update with you about your partnership with Compassion. This very year, it's been 15 years of partnership that Lighthouse Church has had with Compassion. I just want to start by saying a huge thank you to you. Over that time, there's been around 600 children sponsored in Lighthouse services across all your locations. What it means for those 600 children has been life-changing. For those children and their families, they are connected to local churches in Brazil, the Philippines, and around the world. These local churches walk alongside these children and their families, making sure that their needs are met when it comes to food and clean water, when it comes to healthcare and getting checkups, when it comes to their schooling and their education. And they walk alongside them and mentor them. And most importantly, they introduce them to Jesus. As of today, there are 283 children sponsored by people from all across the Lighthouse locations. Thank you so much for that support and generosity. At Compassion, we currently have 2.4 million children in the program globally. We have a big vision for that to grow. Over the next 5 years, it's our vision to see another 1 million children added to the program. It's a big, faith-filled and audacious goal, and I'm so excited that there's people all around the country joining in that to be a part of a movement to see children released from poverty in Jesus' name. I also want to say thank you to you for last year, your generous support of Faith, a young girl from the Philippines who needed an operation. Without your support, Faith would not have been able to get the medical care that she needed. I'm happy to report to you that Faith has made a full recovery, the surgery was a success, and she is thriving in her health now. She is connected to the local church, loving Jesus, and doing well in the Compassion program. Thank you so much for your vital support that you provided. I was talking to a pastor recently who'd been on a trip not that long ago, and he was saying to me about all the different things that he enjoyed about the Compassion program, but he said the one thing that stood out to him is that everywhere he went, he asked this question of people: what is the one thing that has meant the most to you in this program? He expected some of them to say education, which is vital, or healthcare, or clean water, or food, all the things that are physical attributes that really matter. But he said the number one answer that overwhelmingly came back, the number one answer was that they were introduced to the person of Jesus and were now following him today. So I just want to say thank you to you for choosing to partner with Compassion. Thank you to you who have been doing it for years. Thank you to those of you who today are going to walk out to the stand and sponsor a child for the very first time. Thank you so much for the ongoing kingdom impact you've had over the past 15 years, and we're so looking forward to continuing to partner together.
How incredible is that? Such a long-lasting relationship with Compassion that no doubt will be for many, many years to come. And the fact that, yes, we have sponsored over 600 children and currently 283 kids in overseas being supported, which is just mind-blowing that we are, helping these children holistically in their needs and the flow on to, impact their family as well. But like Michael shared, it's the massive impact that they are hearing about Jesus, and they would not have had a chance otherwise if Compassion wasn't able to go in there, that we were not able to then give to Compassion. That flow-on effect is amazing, and these kids are hearing about Jesus. So it's just amazing that we are having again this opportunity to support Compassion and to share about it. I've been hanging out for this day. I've been talking about Serve Day all through the month of October, and I love Serve Day. I'm so excited about next weekend. But Compassion is just a really special organisation, and I am so excited because Liz is our very own Lighthouse Compassion rep, which is amazing. And because of that, we get to have a stall today out in the foyer where you can personally sponsor a child. I picked up two earlier, and it just happened to be these two girls. They're both named Maria in Brazil, but they're 10 years apart. One's 4, one's 14. And they both equally need our support. And so there's some kids out there alongside these two Marias that could do with your support. So if you'd like to sponsor a child, please do. It's a monthly commitment, but it goes a long way to helping these kids. It's just amazing. But we also recognise that across Lighthouse, we are sponsoring 283 kids, and some of you may not be able to commit to that financial monthly commitment anymore. And that's where it was amazing last year to support Faith. And didn't you just love her big beaming smile? Oh my gosh, what a difference. She's had this jaw surgery and now she's fully recovered with a massive smile because of what all we in Lighthouse did to support her. It's just beautiful. And I am very excited to share again that we are doing a project for a young man named Ephraim. He's 21 years old, and we have committed as Lighthouse to financially support Ephraim. Now, he needs pretty much urgent life-saving medical surgery. I'm going to try the medical term first and see how this goes. So, obstructive uropathy secondary to nephrolithiasis. I did not nail that at all. What that basically means is his urinary system is at risk of being blocked by a rapidly growing kidney stone, and he's at massive risk of getting kidney damage or even kidney failure, which obviously is pretty serious. He is based in the Philippines and really does need this surgery. And like I said, it's amazing that we can commit as a church family to financially support and have that global impact. So we've put the QR code up there. You can click on it. You can find out more. You can make a financial gift to support Ephraim. Just a few details about him. He's the youngest of 3 siblings. He faced significant hardships in childhood when his mother passed away at a young age, and he was raised by his siblings and his relatives. He is a college student living on minimal financial support. However, it was in his first year of college that these medical issues started to come about. So even, he's a young man now, 21, he's had some support, and he's really trying to push and, set up his life. And now all of a sudden, these medical issues are coming when he's just trying to start college. And so, he could really do with some financial support. And it's beautiful because he considers his local church his family. And at church, he enjoys learning guitar and other instruments, which is pretty amazing. So that's just a snapshot of Ephraim, just to give you a picture of his life, what he's going through right now. But obviously, his life has kind of been altered with, the fact that, he's got this kidney stone causing this blockage and really does need this life-saving surgery. So if you can financially support, do the QR code or head to Liz. She'll have an iPad on the stall that you can financially support as well if you want to sponsor a child. It's just a way of having a global impact here in Australia to here in Australia to be able to support overseas, which is just incredible.
Amazing. Look at that. I just gave right then on you can put that QR code back up, Marco. So it's super quick and easy. Again, that payment is done directly through Compassion. So that's not those funds don't go through our church. So we just do it totally separate. So yeah, you can scan that, and I think it took me like 30 seconds to do it just then to donate towards that surgery. And as Heidi said, you can see Liz, and she'll have capabilities to give towards that out in the foyer. Marco, do you want to put up the other giving screen? So right now we're going to take up an offering to fund the work of Beyond. And I encourage you to be generous in this moment. I have not afraid to ask for your money for this. I'm not afraid to even suggest making a little bit of a stretch. But this is really beneficial work. And it goes a long way to showing our community that we care and that we actually are Christians. That the Bible we read, that we live out. That just as Jesus sacrificed himself on the cross, we too live sacrificially. So I encourage you to give into this. You can also give by cash as well. So straight after the service, just outside the auditorium is the giving station. And there's a white box there and you can give by cash. But if you're giving by cash, we have got envelopes there. Can you put your cash in the envelope? And there's a little box down the bottom, that little tick boxes that you can say where the money is going to. Like, make sure you tick Beyond. Otherwise, it will just go into our general church giving and we won't know that you're giving into Beyond. But if you tick that box, we'll make sure that that cash goes into our Beyond fund. And if you do want tax deductibility and you give by cash, make sure you fill out your details on that envelope as well, so that we can make sure that we get a receipt to you, a tax receipt to you as well, so you can claim that. You know, you'll hear people from time to time, maybe you've said it yourself, things like that the world is getting darker. Well, there is a way the world can get brighter, and it's through things like this. The more we can live our lives according to the pages of Scripture, as we look at the life of Christ, as we look at the apostles, as we look at different people, examples within Scripture, there is a way we can combat the darkness, and that's through shining the light of Christ. And it's not by waving our Bible in the air and yelling at people, turn or burn, but it's to live our lives sacrificially. It's to live for others. It's to be generous. It's to be kind. All of those things that we know is the godly life. So as individuals, we need to get brighter. As the church, we need to get brighter. And this is just one little way. This is just one little way that we can do that through the work of Beyond. But I just leave all of us with this encouragement. How can we burn brighter as individuals? How can we live more like Christ in our world, in our workplace, in our school, with our family, with Auntie Sharon who drives us up the wall? Whoever it is, how can we live a brighter life? How can we display the true qualities and characteristics of Christ himself?